I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of those blue and yellow flags that have been all over social media, in people's bios and such, they seem to be slowly disappearing. I could think that maybe it's because Zelensky asked for $7 billion in aid from the U.S.
We need up to $7 billion in financial support each month to make up for economic losses.
Or it could be that there are several stories that came out of Ukraine about atrocities that ended up to be exaggerated or not true at all. Or it could be that the West is waking up to the fact that, yes, there are neo-Nazis in Ukraine. And yes, the US and Europe are actually funding weapons that are going into the hands of these neo-Nazis. Now, one such story that is not making any Western headlines came out of Moscow, was revealed by the FSB, which is Moscow's intelligence agency. They apprehended a cell of neo-Nazis funded and backed by Ukraine, Kiev, the intelligence services there, according to the FSB. And these neo-Nazis had weaponry, had plans and plots to kill the editor-in-chief of RT, Margarita Simeon, and her husband, as well as the head of Sputnik, Dmitry Kiselev, as well as other very prominent media figures. Now, if this was happening in the West, and there was a plot from some terrorists or neo-Nazis with weapons to kill a bunch of heads of media or very famous television anchors, I believe it would be all over the headlines. It's interesting that when it's in Russia, there's simply no coverage of it. So again, we're dealing with the fact that we're not getting a balanced view of what's actually happening in Ukraine. As, we move forward and more money is poured into weaponry into Ukraine, it begs the question, how much of this weaponry is getting into the hands of actual neo-Nazis?